What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to J.Craft's Garage. Well, I've been debating going back and forth whether to do an exclusive video on the Chevrolet Trax in our trip to Colorado, or just all throw it together to our 1 year, I guess 1 year review of the Trax and everything. So I decided to just throw it all together and make a 1 year review of the Chevrolet Trax, as well as our trip to Colorado and back. So here we go. Our trip to Colorado and back, and then we're going to go into the review of what my thoughts are and everything, and how the car's held up and everything in this 1 year, because September is the 1 year anniversary of getting this Chevrolet Trax. That's right, we got it a year ago this month, and we've already put over 20,000 miles on the car. So let's get into it and see how everything went, and as well as my thoughts are on this vehicle. Now, if you recall in the last video with the Chevrolet Trax, we did a oil analysis on the engine oil in the car. The oil had, it was right around 5,000 miles on it, and we put a new filter on it, sent the oil in for analysis, and it showed to have fuel dilution on the oil. So, before this trip, I wound up changing the engine oil, and it's only got 18,000 miles on the engine, and about 8,000 miles on the oil, thereabouts, maybe 8,500 there, somewhere around there. So since it all came back with the fuel dilution and a few other things, I decided to change the oil and filter on it, as well as put a new air filter in the vehicle. That way we can get accurate fuel mileage with this car while driving on the highway. We're going to see how this car does on these long road trips. Now, this car has only been doing short trips, less than 100 miles or so, between trips and things that maybe about 100, maybe about 120, 150 at the most. This one here is going to be interesting to find out about the fuel mileage on these longer trips, that are hours long trips, 300-400 miles in between fill-ups. So we're going to document all that, as well as anything else that might happen along the way. We're going round trip's about 2,000 miles. We're going up into Colorado, near Denver area, and documenting fuel mileage and anything else that might happen along the way as well. So here we go. Let's load up and get in the vehicle and take off for this road trip. So we're getting ready to take off here, and we're starting at a average 34 miles to the gallon on the fuel mileage. We went to San Antonio back yesterday and last night. Only drove like 60-65 during the nighttime because of the wildlife that likes to cross the road sometimes and meet with you in the middle of the road. So we're going to start there. Mileage is 18,582 miles, if you notice down here on the lower right hand corner. And we've got a full tank of fuel, well, pretty close to full tank of fuel, at 324 miles of range. And I expect that to maybe increase a little bit. But we're going to see what the fuel mileage is. I'm going to do it on paper and versus what it's showing on the screen as well. So to get an accurate average, I guess you can say. And I'm going to monitor the coolant temperature. Right now it's at 145 degrees. I'm just sitting here idling, just started up. And tire pressures, we are looking at 34 to 36 on the tires. I'm going to leave it like that because the tire pressures are going to increase a little bit while we're driving on the highway. Oil life, we set back to 100% because I just changed the oil on it yesterday. So I guess all there is to say, all there is to do is nothing to it but do it. So we're almost about 100 miles down the road, and all of a sudden we're up to almost 38 miles to the gallon with this little car. Yep. So we got about 269 miles thereabouts, or a little bit before that, to get fuel. And so we're going to continue down the road. So that just shows you that this little car, doing 70 miles an hour down the road with all of our luggage and everything, doing about 38 miles to the gallon. Of course, the road's been pretty flat. We're north of San Antonio, so when we get into the hill country and other areas, it may change. And next stop is probably going to be to get fuel. So we're in Amarillo, Texas. We made it all the way up here to Amarillo, and we've already rolled um 306 miles from the time that we left till now. So I decided to fuel up, and you can see now the range has popped up to almost 500 miles on the range. My average showing on this is 40. It popped up to 42.1, but I go to fill up, and you can see over there it says $27 and 10 gallons. So we went 306 miles and 10 gallons. I don't know how it's different from this, but so we're getting anywhere from 30 to 42 miles to the gallon. Go figure. So we're gonna keep on rolling. We're gonna go through Amarillo. Probably our next stop is gonna be in New Mexico somewhere, and go from there. You know, if we keep getting this fuel mileage, who knows how far we can go. I'm surprised to see, 42 miles to the gallon. I thought this would be a little bit less, but then put 10 gallons in the tank and only roll 306 miles. I don't know. I got a whole bunch of questions. Let me know what y'all think down in the comments about the discrepancy about the mileage and what is actually on the instrument cluster. So we made it to Amarillo last night, and we had some dinner, and we decided to stay overnight here in Amarillo. We slept in the Trax at a Walmart parking lot. Kind of interesting sleeping in a car. I haven't done sleeping in a car in a little while. But check this out. I had to, this morning, we're up about 4:30 this morning getting ready to go, get back on the road. And I came up to 2 of these, like this. We're here at the TA. I don't know if you can see it, it's kind of dark. We're here at the TA off of 40, and came up with some of those signs. So I said, I'm not gonna move this car again. I went to the other one and just came around and put it all together. Pretty cool, huh? I figured I've only got 172 miles left on the range, so I have to kind of guess. I'm playing back and forth here. Oh, one more. And I'll show you something else here in a second that I had to do. Getting the 88 octane instead of the, well, it's supposed to be 87 and 93. I'm getting the 88 octane for this one. So, and it hasn't been over $30. This is only the second time that I filled up. And there we go. I like even numbers. So we're gonna do the calculations here in a little bit and find out what our fuel mileage is. Of course, we ran the car a little bit last night too because of the being kind of warm and everything. We let it idle, and the car didn't want to let us idle too long, so that's a good thing. So we're gonna get on the road and head to Colorado. So this is our final stop on our journey up to where we're going to. You notice they got 85, 87, 91 here. This is in Colorado Springs. That's where we wound up at. And we are filling it up because I was only down to about 75 miles left on the range. So I picked the 87 option. $3.59 a gallon. $3.59 a gallon. Here in Colorado is going to be a little bit more expensive. But there we go. We're going to see how many gallons we're going to put into it here in just a minute. So the end result is $39 and almost 11 gallons into the tank. Let's see what the fuel mileage is going to be. So here's my running tally that I've been keeping with our trip. Almost 1,000 miles that we've accomplished. And we've been getting, at the beginning, we were getting about 30 miles to the gallon thereabouts in Texas. But now it's bumped up to 35 to 36 miles to the gallon. And so we've got a little bit more to go. We've got probably another 100 miles to get to our destination north of Denver, and then that'll be it. And we're going to be running around and everything else with the car with this fuel mileage. So I'm curious to see how it's going to be and how much our total fuel bill is going to be at the end of this trip. So while in Estes Park, and look at this little trolley right there up at the top. It says, I'm electric. That's right. This big trolley that you can take from the visitor center to downtown Estes Park is all electric. Now, I know a lot of y'all are used to like seeing Teslas, seeing other cars and vehicles that are all battery powered, all electric, and even pickup trucks as well. But this here is a decent sized trolley that holds a lot of people in it that's all electric. We rode around in that one, and let me tell you what, it is a cool ride. Next fill up, we were in Cheyenne, Wyoming, and that was only about an hour's drive from where we were at. As you can see, about $36 that we put in with 11 gallons of fuel. And also, here we go again, 88 octane. They only had 85, 88, and 91 octane at the pump. So I've just been doing 88. So this is what the final tally was from when we began to when we ended, and everywhere that we stopped for fuel and all that. As you can see at the top, it started off at like 36 or 30 miles per gallon, excuse me, and then it just increased from there to 36 to 39 and all that from being unloaded and driving on the mountain roads that were curvy, and you had to drive slower, like 30, 35, 40 miles an hour on those roads. And that's where I think the better fuel mileage came into play there. And then as you're seeing our trip back, Colorado Springs, Amarillo, and in Texas and all that, fuel mileage dropped because I was had the hammer to the floor pretty much as driving at about 75, 80 miles an hour on our way back. So all in all, 2,700 miles, average fuel mileage, 30 to 39 miles to the gallon. Well, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. That's how our trip to Colorado went with the 2025 Chevrolet Trax. And for the most part, the car does pretty good on fuel mileage and everything. There's a few issues that I have with it that I'm not too terribly crazy about. The turbo lag. It's got turbo lag out the wazoo. I can't jump out from a standstill and jump out there in traffic and take off like I want to. You have to hit the accelerator. Accelerator accelerates within about 2 seconds of a delay, and then it finally picks up and takes off and goes. So that is way different than what I'm accustomed to on my 7.3 that I've got. Yes, my 7.3 is a 95 Power Stroke, and it's a totally different truck, and totally different engine, totally different turbo. I know that, but I'm used to driving a truck that will take off and go, despite it being 7,000 to 8,000 pounds. Go figure. But I realize that this little Trax is only a 3-cylinder with a turbo that tries to do the best that it can. But anyways, a few other things about the Trax. It does, hold all of our gear, held all of our supplies and everything that we took with us. I'm kind of disappointed whenever the oil analysis came back a few videos back, and it said that we had fuel dilution in it. But that could be from the car idling quite a bit and doing high revs, high, start and stop traffic, and city traffic is basically what it's used for, and things of that nature. We do trips to San Antonio and to surrounding areas as well. That's why it's got 22, almost 23,000 miles on it already in about a year's time. Yeah, in a year's time, 23,000 miles on the little Trax. So there's a few more things that we're going to do to it. I'm going to do an oil change at around 25,000 miles and just do the oil change, every 5,000 miles with the AMSOIL OE oil in it with a Wix XP filter on it, since it is used in town city driving and things of that nature. I need to rotate. Whenever I do that, I want to rotate the tires on it because the tires have not been rotated, and it's front wheel drive. So 25,000 miles, I need to rotate the tires front to rear on that. There's also a hint that there may be something going on with the AC in the car. Earlier models, I think possibly in 24, early 25, I have to check to see on this car when it was manufactured, they had problems with the evaporator leaking in these cars. So once in a while I get a whiff of like moldy, musty smell, coming out the exhaust, not the exhaust, yeah, the exhaust, sir, out the vents in the car. And then I hear a little noise, like there's low refrigerant, if you know what you've heard this noise, you know what I'm talking about. Going across the expansion valve in some of these. So we're gonna keep on driving it and see if things get worse. I have to check also see if I've got I think I've got an extended warranty on this thing. I'll have to double check on it. But other than that, other than being white and seeing all the dirts on it, and now it's got because of on the road and the way this thing is designed, it's got rock chips on the hood. So we're gonna probably have to get that repainted and fixed on the front end, and then put a protective film on the hood. They have some clear sticky stuff that you can barely see that you can put on to the front of the hood, the lower portion of the hood, and which will kind of cause the rock chips to subside. But that's later on down the road, and we're gonna see about doing something like that, getting it repaired by a reputable shop, and then doing the cover on the hood of the car. Of course, I will let you know about all that, and I'm looking to get the front windows tinted as well because they are clear, or pretty much clear, and a little darker is not going to hurt the car. I want to get the rear darkest, like limo tint or whatever. Let me know what y'all think about what I've talked about here in the Chevrolet Trax. If you've got a Chevrolet Trax yourself, 24, 25, 26 model, let me know what you think. Let me know your thoughts and things that you may have gone through with your Trax. The older Traxes, 23 and older, I know about them. They are not the best ones out there because of all their issues. I know quite a bit. But these here, this 25, 24, 25, 26 is kind of new to me. So I'm learning as I go. And I'm going to keep up with the maintenance and keep up with everything that needs to be kept up with this car as far as maintenance and fluids and everything to see how long this car will last and hopefully not have any issues with it. I know there's some also that have issues with speakers that are not working or they just completely fail. Also window motors in some of the doors that fail also in these from 24 and 25 also. So there's a few issues that are out there. We haven't experienced that just yet, thankfully. But if we do, I'm going to make a video about it, and I'm going to share my experience with getting that rectified with this car. So again, I appreciate everybody watching. Like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Whatever comments that you have, please throw the comments down at the bottom of the video. I do read the comments and I do respond to them. Again, the more comments that I have, the more interaction that I have. It's the analytics just goes up. Yeah, it goes up, up, up. And again, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. If anybody else that would benefit from these videos, please share with them. Let them know about the channel as well. I hope everybody is well. Hope everybody is safe. And I look forward to seeing everybody else right here on the next video.